Yeah. Um, High-level college basketball game. Two really good teams. About what I expected it to be. With a team that had lost twice, and they played great. So my hat's off to Tom. They always do that. I thought the game was a lot of little things for us, things that we haven't been doing. We had a couple lane violations. We got ducked in the post-ups, which we haven't been doing. Just little things that add up over the course of a night. Everything in our program is predicated on when the ball doesn't go in. And, obviously a tough night for Katon. Shooting it. You go on the road and turn it over 4 times and get 15 offensive rebounds. Most nights you're going to win. But, tonight we, second chance point, Kerr jumps up and, makes the 3 off a offensive rebound. And I thought that those little things were the important pieces in the outcome of the game tonight. But proud of our guys. I thought we battled. And tonight we didn't shoot it very well. I loved our shots. Thought we got great shots. Didn't go in. So my hat's off to Michigan State, and they got back on the right side of it, and today was their day.
Brad, a year ago you talked to us and you shared your healthy respect for Coach Izzo. Just yesterday he talked about you guys and his admiration for even your rebounding. He said it was kind of like his 2000-era championship teams. I'm just curious, your players have these natural physical gifts with size, but can you talk about your competitive culture? How is it that you get these guys to still be able to compete on this level on a regular basis?
Yeah, it's just a matter of what you're going to accept, and I think that rebounding's is something that leads to winning, and I like to win. I'm a really crappy loser, so we haven't been out rebounded very much, but we work on it. If you come to our practices, you'll know why we're good at rebounding most days. There's usually 3, 4, 5 drills involved in rebounding. It's an emphasis for all of our coaches every day, I just think it's really conducive to winning basketball games, and there's a reason Michigan State's won a lot of games in the last 35 years because it's a part of their culture as well.
Coach, you guys have one of the top offenses. Did Michigan State do something different? Did they show a different look on defense to slow you guys down?
Nothing we haven't seen. We took 35 or 36 threes. You give me Jake Davis shooting those threes that were wide open. You give me Merck and you give me Tommy and those guys shooting them. Those are the shots we want to take. And tonight it just didn't go. They didn't go down. Katon got some really good looks, and that's just the game of basketball. It's really it's why we don't ever. We like to be good at offense, but we haven't built our program on that. We try to win games when the ball doesn't go in.
Brad, I'm wondering about the review of the trip late in the first half. What were you told on that? And secondly, about fears and the job he did in the second half and overtime for Michigan State.
Yeah, there was nothing on the trip. They looked at it. And it's always going to be a judgmental thing. He stops and it's always it's what he does. But he was terrific. We didn't do a very good job of squaring him up. He plays with great speed and pace. Their bigs don't get enough credit for how many layups they get him. But I was disappointed in the fact that we fouled him that much. He's not a very good shooter, and we wanted him to have to shoot the ball in, even if it was a layup. But he's crafty, he's smart, and did a nice job tonight.
Brad, you've been able to close out games in the final 4 minutes. What was different tonight? And expound on those little things that
an offensive rebound. Otherwise, we close it out. Gave up an offensive rebound, and otherwise we close it out. And and I think, your first 4 minutes are or your last 4 minutes are no different than any other minutes. I'm more disappointed in the lane violations. I'm more disappointed. We had 4 guys in zone one trip and 1 guy in man, and they hit a 3. The little just mistakes that we made that we haven't been making, and last 4 minutes I was actually pretty pleased with. I thought we had a chance to win the game, and our kid jumped up and made one on a second chance.
Brad.
Because those mistakes are maybe uncharacteristic, do you have a sense for why there were maybe more of them tonight?
No clue. Watch it on film, but no clue. No.
Brad, on your right, over here. I'm curious. Katon, we've seen have pretty good performances against teams like Purdue and Nebraska, but
I can't hear you.
oh, sorry. We've seen Katon have pretty good performances against Purdue, Nebraska, some of these big teams, but for him to have a game where he has some struggles, what can he learn from that?
He was due. It's just the law of averages. He was due. They did a good job. I'll give them all the credit. They did a nice job. But those are the same exact shots that he's been making all season long. Tonight he got some good looks. He missed them. Next game, yeah, it's shooters can't worry about tough nights.
Brad, on a night where Keegan's really struggling, what do you like out of Merck, out of that point forward spot, and what was really working for
Yeah,
him?
he dominated the game there for a little bit, and I probably took him out at the wrong time to give him a blow about the 6.5 minute mark. I think we were up 4 or 5, and I took him out, trying to give him a blow. But he's a great decision maker. He's a really good finisher. He's uncanny in terms of his ability. Again, he's like Katon for a freshman. He makes really good decisions, and we opened the overtime with a play that I thought he got fouled on. You see the jersey being pulled and no foul call, but he missed that little layup, but he got to the front of the rim.
Coach, you spoke about the looks that you guys got offensively. Can you just kind of speak to just some of the screening varieties, especially what we saw from Ben?
Yeah, it's all we do is talk about screening variety and mixing them up and getting bigs on the wrong side of them or creating the switch that we want. We set more flat middles tonight. We got to, some ball screens on the side, probably not enough. But, it's one of the things that we do. Our bigs are really good at it. And they read those things, and, Keaton's been and is electric at dicing those things up.
Brad, over here on your left, you mentioned the lane violations. Michigan State seems to draw about 2 of those. They seem every game. Have you noticed anything on?
Yeah,
film?
they've got a couple guys that pause, and it's an unnatural shooting form, But we talked about it. We talked about it in preparation. That you had to watch the ball, you had to pay attention. Again, and that's mental toughness, and that's ultimately on me. But we've got to be better than that. And that's the kind of stuff that in March in the NCAA tournament sends your butt home.
Got time for 2 more. Scott.
Especially towards maybe the end of regulation, Dre and David both getting to the rim, finishing. How much were you maybe stressing that, down the stretch to maybe get those type
Yeah,
of
I
looks?
mean, we had a side out of bounds timeout, and I put the ball in Keaton's hands. We got it downhill. Cohen made a heck of a block on it. And then we gave the ball to David a couple trips late, and obviously he got downhill and made a big kind of sweeping left hook. David's so good because he uses either hand. He's 255 pounds, so he's got a body to do that. I thought Dre had a great segment. There in the second half where he got downhill and was effective. But it's an important piece of what we try to do. I was disappointed we didn't get to the foul line more tonight, but that's it's also been a big part of what we've done.
Coach, it's been almost 2 months since you guys have lost. Do you get the impression that your players hate losing the way that you want them to? And I guess what do you want to see in the next couple of days to see them respond to this? Yeah,
we'll find out on Tuesday. That's a distraught locker room. I mean, there's a bunch of guys that have a lot of desire and want to and care, and no one's we've had 3 straight Saturdays now, top 5 opponents, or very close on the road. You know, it's what the Big Ten schedule gives you, and guess what? There's another one on Tuesday, and you know, you got to play your tail off and play hard, and you don't you kind of learn from the mistakes and you talk about them. But this is a quick turn, and off we go.